Oh. Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Prayer is a means to be grateful or a means to be purposeful. And when we are quiet, then prayer as a means becomes more clear. So let us all be quiet so that our prayers are purposeful or grateful. Ma vidvishavahai. May I understand myself. Shri Krishna's song, his call to us, starts in chapter 1, where he shares those who ignore vastness. I keep sharing your vastness, but I don't have to preface it by your. Vastness, infinity, doesn't have such definitions like you and mine, you and me. It is simply vastness. Those who ignore vastness, they feel dejected. 99.9% of people feel dejected because they don't know vastness, which is the subject of chapter 2. Not ignoring vastness, but knowing vastness. Then they don't feel dejected, they feel content. That contentment is coming from their content. Chapter 3 is about purity. I'm ignoring vastness. I have to know vastness to transition. This transitioning starts with purity. And this is facilitated by karma yoga. Right actions, right attitude. Chapters 4 and 5, the methodology is to encourage clarity. First, purity, and it's like that purity is refined to become clarity. Clarity that I am vastness. And this is being facilitated by sannyasa yoga. My whole life, I've been taught, and I'm sure you can relate to this, I've been taught that ashrama. Ashrama means a position. It relates to your age. That is highly external. There's lots of older people here who are beginner seekers. There's lots of younger people here who are advanced seekers. Agreed? With our intense exploration of Bhagavad Gita, I've come to understand and appreciate that sannyasa is not an ashrama, it is a varna. Varna means personality. It is not a position, it is a personality type. That is not external, that is internal. Like if I were to ask all of you, show me your personality. You can't. It's in you. If I ask all of you, show me your position or your age, you can. Sannyasa yoga. Keep renouncing likes and dislikes and doership. And now we're being led to chapter 6. Chapter 6 is on dhyana yoga, which is to establish ourselves in knowing vastness. Chapter 1 through 6 is almost like a Bhagavad Gita to itself. Here's the beginning point, here are the middle points, this is the end point. To establish ourselves in vastness, to abide in vastness, the Sanskrit word is nishtha. Zooming into the completion of chapter 5. In verses 21 and 22 and 23, Shri Krishna is emphasizing dhyana is someone who's engaged in directing their senses. We thought lots about sense objects, sense organs. They're directing their sense organs because they understand there is no joy in sense objects. So as we're preparing for contemplation, we should already be able to direct our sense organs. And then in verses 24 and 25, Shri Krishna is sharing the completion of dhyana is moksha. Moksha is freedom, independence. This is for not the sense organs, but the ego. The ego is what is limited, makes us feel limited. And so moksha is when the ego merges with the spirit. So there are no limits then. There's limitlessness. Moksha is when you understand you are joy. It's almost like verses 21 to 23. There's no joy outside of me. Verses 24 and 25. There is joy inside of me. Specifically in verse 25, the last quarter, sarva bhuta hita rata. The one who has directed their sense organs, the one who has directed their ego, rataha, they're reveling. In what? Sarva bhuta, reveling in all beings. And because of that, hita. Hita means they care. They love. They know vastness. So there's no sense of I and you. There's vastness. So there's just vastness. And that will come out clearly in verse 26. But I want to share a couple of more insights before we drift into there. There is a saying in our culture, I hope I'm getting this correctly, Annadanam Mahadanam, which means to give food, to donate food, is a great charity. Vidyadanam ataha param. But even greater, even more significant, is giving knowledge. That is what one who knows the Atman does for beings, because nobody else can do it. Agreed? Every one of us right now can give food to each other. Literally. You share your address, I'll call DoorDash, you will get food. But only the one who knows Atman can help another know Atman. I reflect on this very deeply in reference to my immediate family. My older sister and my younger sister are unquestionably more financially secure than I am. And I often think about what one can give their parents. And so often the exchange between children and parents is pleasantries. I can give you a massage chair. I can take you on vacation. We can talk on the phone. We can FaceTime. But the greatest gift you can give your parents to any being is to help them reduce their vasanas and to raise their atma. Because there's a fine chance they can't do that for themselves. I keep reflecting that I may not be able to do this or that for my parents, but if I shift from anatma, that is ego, to atma, that is spirit, I radiate that to all around me. And who's closest to me? My immediate family. So today, as we celebrate Family Day, are you simply exchanging pleasantries with your family? Or are you giving them that which they cannot give to themselves? Ataha param. That is the greatest. You won't find this in a greeting card. You will only find such messaging in Sanatana Dharma and meaningful mornings. Verse 26 continues to share about moksha, freedom. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yatachetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. First quarter, viyuktana, those who are free. I told you this verse is a continuation of verses 24, 25. Free from what? Kama, desire, krodha, anger. These two keep coming up, these enemies. Chapter 3, chapter 5. Moksha is being free of vices. Today, as you reflect on your varna, your personality, think about what vices do to you. They make you feel limited, yes? They control you. So if I'm free of vices, I will feel limitless. I will be the controller rather than the controlled. Don't make moksha some heavenly esoteric experience. It is having no vices. That is incredible. That is practical. Yatinam yatachetasam. Yatinam is like yati, which becomes yatin, which becomes jatin. We know so many names like that, which becomes Justin. We know so many names like that. He's a seeker, one who's aspiring to be better, primarily yatachetasam, with their mind. Because the mind dominates us right now. But for one who is seeking, they're not controlled by their mind, they're directing their mind. In contemplation, I've shared with all of you, Instead of allowing the mind to interpret, chant. See how now you're directing the mind. Abhitaha Brahma Nirvana. The word nirvana comes again and again and again. Show me with your hands what nirvana means. What are you all doing? You're just giving me a high five. To blow out is what nirvana means. Blow out into Brahma, infinity. Abhitaha means on all sides. Do you know why Sri Krishna uses this word on all sides? Tell me, is there a front to infinity, a back to infinity, an up, a down? It's because we're so tightly tied to spatial orientation that he's using a language we can relate to. Because as soon as you use the word infinity, there's no space, time, matter. Agreed? So we have to reflect on this and then go beyond it. So this third quarter is indicating oneness. In oneness, there are no references. We can practice this. In oneness, there's no comparisons. A majority of our day goes into judgment, comparisons. That is anti this quarter. Last quarter, Vartate Viditatmanam. Vidita, and many of you have this name, means know. What do they know? Atmanam. They know their self. They know yourself. They know all selves. In other words, what Sri Krishna shared in chapter 2, his first message, verse 11, know vastness. The one who has combined the ego into the spirit, they know vastness. And please share with me in the chat, when you know vastness, what will you feel? A beautiful word, starts with C. You will feel, complete is a good word, compassion is a good word, content. I just talked about that 10 minutes ago. Content because of your content. Yes? Did I say that? I'll have to check the recording. You will feel content. From inspiration to application. Your application recently was to rate yourself in terms of Sarva Bhuta Hita Rata. If any of you is interested in getting a tattoo, get that tattooed on your arm. Change your license plate to that. 1 is awful, 100 is awesome. Would anyone like to share their swadhyaya, their self-reflection, self-rating? High standards, yes? Of what services? Me volunteering 3 hours a week does not count towards Sarva Bhuta Hita Rata. This is your potential. That last quarter of verse 25 is your potential. Since it's your potential, this should be your plan. So practice living in such a way where you're following this plan to your potential. And anything less than that is ego and not spirit. Your application for this morning. Tomorrow we complete 600 mornings of meaningful mornings. That means we've been together for 165 hours. Just rataha. Your application is revel in this opportunity. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.